Hey everyone, it's Jen from You So Much, and I'm here today with a Fantasy Friday. And today's quote is, "The empires of the future are the empires of the mind." And that quote is by Winston Churchill. And for those of you who don't know who Winston Churchill is, he was the Prime Minister of Britain. He actually originally started out fairly young as a journalist. He was actually a correspondent in the middle of World War I, and he got caught in the situation where he basically narrowly escaped getting into prison camp. And it kind of got him some notoriety and some fame really early on. And he eventually did fight in World War I, and then eventually kind of got out of politics for a while. But they brought him back in the middle of World War II when they were struggling against Germany and the Nazis. And he really helped give hope to the people there in the middle of that war. Eventually, obviously, they overcame Germany along with all of their allies and is a war hero for many, many reasons. On top of all that, he became an author and wrote several books, and he got the Nobel Prize for literature for books that he wrote. So he obviously has made a huge difference in a ton of people's lives with the words that he has spoken and the words that he has written. And so this is somebody I believe truly understands that words do make it real. I mean, the quote in general, "The empires of the future are the empires of the mind," to me that really talks about how you really have to have something in your head first before it becomes reality. You have to have this fantasy of the empire that you want to build before it can become real. You have to believe in that empire in your mind before it manifests itself into reality. And so this is an amazing quote. I love it. If any of you out there have an empire in mind, I think that's incredible, and you should keep that in mind, and you should have more clarity about what that empire is and write it down, because writing down your fantasies and your dreams help to make them come true. It's just a fact, because first of all, it becomes true in your head first, and the mind doesn't know the difference between fantasy and reality. It really doesn't. The brain really does think it's the same thing, and so you're experiencing it like it's the same thing. That's why we get so engrossed in a book or a movie, because it's all there up in our head. And so if you want a fantasy to become true, in order to believe it to become true, you must imagine it first. It must be in your head first. Anything that we have achieved, we imagined achieving it before we actually did it. So anyway, I love this quote. Obviously, I think it's amazing. I think Winston Churchill will be one of those leaders that we will go back to time and time again. And I encourage you all to have an empire in your mind. Write it down and read it over and over and over again to get more and more clarity about it that you want in the future. If you guys have a quote you'd love me to feature in a Fantasy Friday video, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave it in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to write down your own fantasies, because words make it real. Thanks. We'll see you next time.